four months of me being a carnivore, I've been on the carnivore diet, 120 days. 120 days, I won an award. Anyway, today I'm gonna give you my whole update as to what it's looking like at 4 months as a carnivore. Are you one of the few? This is the channel for you. My name is Victoria, and I originally started this channel. The FEW is an acronym for Fellow Eczema Warriors, for those who have eczema. It was my quest to find a healing, to find a cure for my eczema and help people manage their symptoms. And along the way, by chance, I came across the carnivore diet, and in the last 4 months, I have almost completely healed my skin, and I have become the #1 fan of the carnivore diet. Not only is this a place for fellow eczema warriors, it is a place for all carnivores and carnivore curious to assemble, because this needs to take the world by storm, okay? The carnivore diet is phenomenal, and I just want to share all about it because I am just blown away. I am almost 40 and I have struggled with eczema my entire life. And as you can see right now, I'm looking pretty good compared to the videos I'm about to show you guys. So 4 months in, and let's just talk about it, because first of all, I don't think I've ever done anything this extreme for 4 months. Like, that's a success. Excited about that. I'm gonna tell you guys today why I started carnivore, what 4 months actually looks like for me in terms of, like, you know, this is no longer the honeymoon phase. The biggest physical challenges that I've experienced, what has kind of improved slowly but not instantly, mental and emotional changes, the hardest part, and what has surprised me the most, some mistakes I made early on, and pretty much what carnivore has become to me. So stay tuned. The end is pretty much the part, if you want to fast forward to, but it's bigger than eczema for me, if I'm honest. But let's just start with #1, why I started. Okay, I have videos and a whole playlist if you want to go watch that, because I'm not into wasting people's time, but some people are not going to want to click off. So basically, long story short, I have suffered from eczema my entire life, and I tried near everything to heal my skin. Around this time last year, I got on a drug called Dupixent, and that was kind of like the Rolls Royce. It's about $24,000 per year. I got it for free. But anyway, that medication, to me, I thought was just gonna make all my problems go away. And of course it didn't. And my eczema in some ways got worse, some ways got better, but especially around my eyes, things got really, really bad. And I had to come off that medication, and I felt like I was at a standstill. Around that time is when I started my YouTube channel. And so you can kind of watch that progress of me, just what I've gone through. I just kind of came to a rock and hard place. And one day, September 5th specifically, I was like, yeah, I can't do this anymore. Like, I was a mess. My face was blown up. My whole body was in pain and uncomfortable. And I'm like, I need to change my life. And so enter the carnivore diet. Of course, we all know the Petersons. And so I had heard about that in the past. And I just thought, okay, you know, that's for desperate situations. They were desperately sick. I'm not desperately sick. So I never did it. And then, you know, as time has gone on, I've known friends that have gone carnivore. They've done it for over a year. They're still alive, no heart attacks. I'm like, maybe. And I just started to look into the wonderful world that is carnivore. Like, literally, there's so much content that had never popped up on my feed before about this diet. And I started to look into the science behind it, and just all of the different mechanisms as to why this could work for me. And I was sold, hook, line, and sinker. I was sold, and I never looked back. I have been eating meat 120 days. It might be a little bit over, a little bit less. I'd have to really do the math. But around that mark, it's been 4 months, and never felt better. Like, literally never felt better. That was not what I thought I was signing up for. I was signing up for glowing, beautiful skin, and that's what I'm getting. No makeup here, no makeup. This is just your girl, bare face, of course, a little mascara, because, you know, we gotta look a little bit presentable, lip gloss, but no makeup. And here I am. I could not have done that before. Since I've started this channel, I've always shown my face, and I used to do my channel. Anyway, no one cares. Okay, moving on. So that is what my health was like before. Of course, I also struggled with other things like insomnia, you know, maybe a little bit of hormonal issues. I had a little bit of a muffin top. I mean, who doesn't? I've had 3 children, but you know, had a little bit of that. And so I definitely knew I knew that there could be other things to gain from being a carnivore, but my sole reason was my skin. Okay, so what 4 months actually look like? Okay, I'm not in the honeymoon phase anymore. I don't have any keto flu. This isn't a will I do the diet or won't. Like we're on. It's 2026, baby. I am gonna be carnivore for the entire year. I know it. I don't even have to question it. You know, I've done like other diets, like no sugar diets, and in your mind, you're always like, it's a phase, or, you know, it never felt as final as this feels for me. I mean, I don't know the future. So if I'm on here eating bread next year, like, shame on me. But this feels real. This feels normal. I have forgotten what it's like to eat carbs. I have forgotten just that element of life. Like, it's like second nature for me to eat bacon for breakfast and not think about anything else. It's second nature for me to eat a whole pound of ground turkey or ground beef. I'm eating beef hearts and liver, and I even had tripe like cut up, like I think they're called the tentacles, in my faux soup the other day, no noodles, and that kind of played as a noodle. So like this time last year, I would never have even thought I'd be eating this way. Around the 90-day mark, it felt like, okay, we're here, we're in it to win it, because you always hear about approaching 90 days. And I do have a video here if you want to see my 90-day update. But in my mind, that first, it was such a hurdle, like just get to 30 days and then just get to 90 days. And now when you're past that, I guess the next milestone would be 6 months or a year, but to me now, it's no longer about milestones. I will celebrate when they come, but I'm not trying to get to something. There's no like, oh my gosh, we're here. This is just life. I'm just enjoying my life. I'm enjoying how I'm feeling. My skin is not 100% perfect. We're gonna get to that in a second, but I'm feeling great. Okay, so the biggest physical changes I have experienced on the carnivore diet is, first of all, lowering of inflammation. That was almost immediate. The inflammation went down. Even in my face, like all the inflammation dropped. If you go back and look at some of my other videos, you can see a difference in how I look now. My hands, my ring is actually a little bit like loose now. So I might have to get that resized. So that's pretty much, I would say, the biggest change. And I have a very flat stomach. Should I show you guys? No, it's okay. Just imagine a flat stomach. That's what I got. It's very flat. My muffin top is gone. I don't look like I had 3 children anymore. So, I mean, that's a great thing. In terms of my skin and eczema. Okay, so this is for all my eczema people, because that is kind of the core of why I started my channel. My eczema is not completely gone. However, it is like 90 to 95% better. One thing that happens when you have eczema is you get something called elephant skin. And my elephant skin is improving by the day, by the month. So it's gonna take a while for my hands not to look like they're like 75, you know? They used to look like they were 90, so we are aging backwards, but it's gonna take some time. Also around my eye on this side, I noticed sometimes I get inflammation. Over the Christmas holidays, I did some taste and spitting. You can go see in my last video, I talk about that. And so I think just absorbing some of that gluten, some of the egg from the treats I was eating, not eating, but tasting and spitting. It's giving weirdo, but anyway, that's what I was doing. I was tasting and spitting so I could feel mentally like I was apart. I did experience some flares from that. Another type of flare that I have been experiencing is a hormonal flare once a month. Once a month when Aunt Flo comes to visit, I do notice I am itchier. I notice that I am just slightly more inflamed. It's not as much as it was, you know, back in the day, but it's still notable. And I did experience a flare a couple days ago. And this is the thing, these flares are becoming, they're like micro flares. They go down very quickly. So if I flare, like my hands flared, I think it was yesterday. And by like a couple hours later, the flare went down. So that is remarkable. I don't even mind if I'm getting a flare, if it's gonna go down instantly, it's fine. But it's because I was using, I had, you notice my hair is different. I was using castor oil in my hair, and I have an allergy to castor oil. But I also am a Black woman, and I need to put oil in my hair, otherwise it gets very dry. So my hands flared because of that. So I do seem to still have allergies to different things. So I can't say that the carnivore diet has healed my allergies as of yet, but it does seem that my body can bounce back much faster when I come into contact with some of these types of things, okay? Energy, sleep, and digestion. Okay, my energy is through the roof. In one of my next videos, I think I'm gonna take you guys a day in the life of a carnivore, and you're just gonna see how much I can do in one day, which this, guys, is a miracle because number one, I'm not one of those high energy productivity types. That is not me, but something that's happening within me and this ketosis state is making me like that. I can get so much done, and I'm not tired. Amazing. So my energy through the roof, my digestion, wonderful. However, little caveat, I have been dibble-dabbling with onions because, well, who doesn't like some onions, right? So I used to just put a little bit of onion. But I would say in the last 2 weeks, I would put like a whole onion with my ground beef, which if you think about it, that's a whole onion, It tastes amazing. However, I did notice my digestion change. So yes, I'm still using the washroom, but wasn't as smooth as usual, a little bit rougher, and the water, like, it just wasn't good. It's so weird. When I'm strictly carnivore or like minimal onion, everything is just whoop. And when I started bringing that whole onion into my diet, I just noticed it wasn't moving through, which is so ironic because onion would be a fiber. If you check ChatGPT, there's so many benefits of onion. And yet when I enter in a whole onion a day into my diet, things slow. I didn't get any bloating from the onion, but I would say things slowed. It didn't feel as, the way it needs to be. Sleep. My sleep is still amazing. As long as I have one coffee in the morning in the day, I am good. Through the holidays, I was having a second coffee in the day. I was having people over, it's the holidays. And so I was up later, but it didn't matter because I was up later, So, but if I want to get to bed at a good time, I have to, and sleep through the night soundly, I cannot have a coffee past 11 in the day. And that's kind of how that goes. So my sleep quality is still great. Great. Guys, I had insomnia before. I didn't sleep like this before. So if you're struggling with sleep, who knew that would be carnivore could do this for you? Okay, so what has improved slowly? Healing is not linear. You can go back and watch one of my videos where I talk about my healing crisis. Because initially when I started the carnivore diet, my skin got really good. And I went on this show, the Dave Mack show, and I was just like, yeah, it's amazing. And literally like the next day, I had a flare. I was like, wow, how humbling is that? Maybe 2 days later, like it was so awful. And I had a flare for like 2 weeks. And so my healing has not been linear, but I would say from 90 days and onward, things have just steadily improved. It's a slow, when you're dealing with the skin, I think it can be a slow process. So I'm noticing like my hyperpigmentation slowly fading, but the skin all over my body is getting more even. When I was a little girl, here's a little story time. When I was a little girl, my mom took me to Jamaica for the first time, and my mom, she loves to tan. So I had eczema at this time, and I was also using steroid creams. Steroid creams thin the skin. Of course, she didn't know that back then, or else I don't think she would have done this. But as a little girl, was much lighter, even I think than I am now. I'll post a picture, but I'm getting there. So she took me to Jamaica, and she put Vaseline all over my body, or baby oil, just like she did her, because that was common practice. This is like the early 90s. We didn't know about all the sun drama, and we would tan. And so I came back from Jamaica dark, like, not that there's anything wrong with being dark, but just like I got a tan, a big time tan. And it was almost like a permanent tan because my skin was compromised from the steroid cream. Now I'm trying to remember why we told this story. Oh, okay. So my whole life, I pretty much maintained that color of skin because it was like almost permanent damage. And another time I went and did light therapy. You can watch that video. It's an eczema horror story. They burned me again. So basically my skin is like 4 to 5 times darker than it was as a child. I am noticing my actual old skin color coming through. You can't really tell in this video, the lighting's not like fantastic, but I can see that my skin is evening out again and I'm returning to my original skin color, which is crazy. It's a slow process, okay? Some setbacks and plateaus. I would say, yeah, when I tasted and spat, I had some setbacks in that this under here, it just seems like it flares. But I was looking back at some videos, and if you're starting your journey, for whatever reason, take notes, take videos, start a YouTube channel if you have to. When I look back, I realize how far I've come, because sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm still having this. And then I realize, oh my goodness, like this used to like, it all was different. I was oozing, oh my goodness, it's not like that anymore. So even though it's improving slowly, it's improving, right? And I think what helps push me through the fact that this kind of feels like slow progress, but not at the same time, is just when I look back and I see how, like I look at my eyes, oh my gosh, not gonna cry, but I look at my eyes, not just physically, but into my eyes, into my soul, and I can see that's a woman that's in a lot of pain. Oh my gosh, what is happening? That's a woman that was in a lot of pain, and I'm no longer there. So we're moving on to the next one because what? Not crying on YouTube. Okay, so mental and emotional changes. You know, I think when you eat the wrong type of food, you have a lot of food noise, and a lot of what drives your decisions is basically carb and sugar addiction. So now I don't have any of that. So there's definitely a calm. All of the tabs that used to be open, I used to feel like I had like 100 tabs open in my brain. Maybe I just have like 1 or 2, and it's like my life and work, you know, like not a lot of tabs are open anymore. So there's definitely a calm. I'm not one of those people that's always thinking about something. Whereas I think when I used to eat all the colors of the rainbow, all the foods, I think my brain was just so cluttered, and there's just a simplicity I think that's happened. I have definitely a mood stability. Even when I'm annoyed or vexed, there's just this, I don't really jump up like I used to in terms of like, you know, I think I'm a relatively calm gal, but I would say even if I was hiding it on the inside, hiding it on the outside, on the inside, I would feel that the cortisol was high. I don't feel like that anymore. Things that will bug me, I can even easily just speak about the things that bother me in a calm manner and have them addressed. Like something as simple as like, if nobody loaded the dishwasher, that would annoy me. Like now I'm like, okay, can somebody please come and unload the dishwasher? Thank you. Like there's no blip on the scale. And if you're a mom, you understand, because that stuff's annoying. So relationship with food now, I eat for the most part to sustain myself. Like food is not my friend. Food is my nourishment. And I think a lot of times food is our friend. Food is what we go to for emotional safety and just to self-soothe. And I don't need that anymore. I eat when I'm hungry. It's very evident when I'm hungry now. I get a little bit hangry. And so I eat to sustain myself. I'm not looking for the next snack, the next thing. Sometimes I do snack. It's more so to maintain weight. I'll probably get into that in a sec. But I'm not eating because I need to. I don't, you know, when you go out and you're thinking, oh, let's stop at a drive-through, or if you're at a mall and it's like, okay, like the food court and the smells just draw you in. I'm just, it's kind of like a passing thought. Even with my like birthday coming up, my brain, it's like I'm not thinking about the food, although I think we're gonna go somewhere meat oriented, which is nice, but it's just weird. Your relationship with food really does change. And that's going to bring me to like the hardest part. And I'm going to be very honest. I think just it changes your social situations. This changes your social life. And of course, depending on the type of person you are, this could be very difficult or not. I am a little bit of a rebel. I don't mind going against the grain. I don't mind being different. So long as it's not really super offensive or something that has to come up all the time. So I have quite the social life. So I do find, sometimes it's difficult just to find the foods. And I also can't afford to buy a steak all the time. So just like in terms of that element, it can be difficult. If you go to someone's house, I've said this in other videos, you got to bring your own food, or there might not be something for you to eat. And you have to deal with those like awkward social moments. And even now that everyone knows that I'm a carnivore, and more people I know are wanting to get on board, but there's still always that like me versus them feeling. And I've learned to adjust, and I think people around me have been very gracious and kind and making accommodations. One of my friends, she came for a potluck, and she just brought beef for me so that I could partake in what she was eating. And I really appreciate that. Meat is also not cheap. So it means a lot when people like make those accommodations for you. But I think the social element can be difficult. I think trying to do this with my family can also be difficult because I want my kids to get proper nourishment, and I'm really sold that they can be solely carnivores, but I know they also want to eat other things. And so just kind of balancing that as a mom, I'm a working mom as well, can be hard. Like I kind of wish everyone was strictly carnivore, so I just had to worry about making beef. And I can sometimes, this journey has brought me very like V focus, like fixing my health, and so sometimes when you're on a journey to heal, you have to block out all the noise, but the noise is my family. Like I have to take care of them as well. And sometimes that balance, it can be difficult with the food and figuring it out and making sure that they're eating enough or they're getting a well-rounded meal in their eyes. Because to me, I'm like, well, you don't need bread. And now my kids actually can eat bacon and eggs for breakfast, and that's just normal, no bread, but obviously maybe they would eat oatmeal every once in a while or different things. I have to keep that in mind. My husband is very good about eating what I eat, and maybe when he's out, he has what he has, but he's easy. It's just the kids, just finding that balance. Okay, so what has surprised me most with carnivore is how easy it actually is. And I know it sounds like it's so hard, but I feel like that is a scam. The fact that it seems like it's going to be hard is a scam. It's actually much easier than you realize. It's just, there's a hurdle. There's a hurdle, but once you get over the hurdle, it's like smooth sailing. It's like you just picture like Mount Everest, maybe like 2/4 of the size, but it looks like it's Mount Everest. And then you start walking on Mount Everest and you realize it's just like the story of a house, like, or the height of a house. And then when you get to the top, you realize, oh, it's just straight land. Like it's really not as difficult as your brain will make it feel like. And that has surprised me. I just wanted to get to 3 months, and I felt like if I could get to 3 months, then I could kind of figure out things from there. And I knew intuitively that if I got to 3 months, I could do it, anything. And so now at 4 months, I'm just like, wow. And it breaks my heart to think so many people get tripped up in those early stages and they never get to have the life change. And I think this is it for like life as a whole. There's so many things that it's just a small hurdle. And if you can get through that small hurdle, it's smooth sailing. But that hurdle, that's what messes people up, man. Okay, so some mistakes that I made early on, definitely my electrolyte imbalance. I was not getting enough electrolytes. I needed to take magnesium. I needed to take a vitamin D with K because I wasn't getting enough potassium. The Lmnt was just not enough for me. I was not serious about my electrolytes, and I paid the price. And I still will. Interestingly, now I don't need as much. I do still take my magnesium. Maybe the supplements I take are why it's balanced out. But in terms of taking like the packets, I don't need to take those as much. I probably take one every couple of days because I have them. I don't know if I need them, but Yeah, some other mistakes I think I made early on maybe would be not always eating enough, getting that you do need to eat more than you think to feel good. I think I was eating enough in terms of like my body weight and stuff, but the more I eat, the better I feel. Now, for myself, as I said, I didn't have huge weight loss goals. I've lost, I think, 18 pounds since doing this. I was also keto just before I started. So I had lost a little bit from that and then entered the carnivore. But I think I started this whole thing at like my heaviest this year was 178. And now I'm like, I sit at a 160, 161. And I'm trying not to drop under the 160 mark. That's kind of, I'm like, I like it here. I like it here. So that's why I would snack, or you see me eating random spoonfuls of butter through the day just to keep that up. So that I would say that's a mistake that I made early on, is just, I don't think I always got enough food. And then I wouldn't, if I didn't feel well, I think it was more related to that than anything else. I think another mistake I might have made early on is just like the debating. I think just you can't debate with people about it. I think just let your results speak for yourself. And, you know, I don't know everything there is to know about this diet, but I was so gung ho, and I'm still very gung ho. That's why I'm here. But, you know, you don't want to break relationships with people because of the diet, you know? So I think that's something, just like having that grace with others for them to find what they is going to work for them. I think I was just that zeal without knowledge kind of gal. I'm like, no, everybody should just be a carnivore. And I still feel that way. But I probably wouldn't. I'm not going to go down the journey. I don't really, you know, unless someone really wants to do it, I'm not. Yeah. What carnivore has helped me become. This is the part that is more precious to me than anything else. Like, my last video is called The Diet That Changed My Life. And that sounds like dramatic, but it's true. And it has changed my identity. It has just made me a whole new woman. I have gotten this crazy level of confidence and inner stability. I'm just different. I'm just different. I mean, I don't think I was half bad before carnivore, but it has just, the disciplines of it, I think, do something within your character. I just feel like a lot more of a go-getter. I sometimes I just don't even recognize myself. I'm like, wow, like this is just, like I said, my productivity level is quite high. When I listen to other people speak as well, you just start to realize, like, oh my goodness, like a lot has changed. A lot has changed about me, my processing, and just even ability to absorb information. A lot of times you go through one ear and out the other because of all that food noise. Your brain is fogged, mental. I don't have any of that. I find, like, you know, I've just recently started a new job and it requires my brain a lot. And I just think I would have been overwhelmed before. I probably would have cried. I probably would have wanted to give up. I wouldn't have, but it just would have been a experience. And it's like seamless, you know? And I really attribute that to the carnivore diet. There is, it can give you the life you've always wanted, you know? There's, of course, there's other pieces, but it really can set you on the trajectory to where you're headed, to those big goals, to those things in your life that you've always wanted. I didn't realize how much diet played a role in that. And it's, I mean, that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. I'm singing, I'm preaching the gospel of carnivore, because people need to change their lives. People need this. People need to know that there is hope, and that, you know, you don't have to just be sick and miserable and depressed and all of that, you know? So that's a wrap. 4 months in, forever to go. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please share this content. I do have a goal of getting to 1,000 subscribers by my birthday. My birthday is the beginning of February. It would be the biggest blessing if you could share this with a friend, you know, share this on your socials, wherever you can share this video, only if it helped you, of course. Comment down below what brings you here, carnivore, eczema, just YouTube brought you here. I want to know. I really do read and try my very, very best to respond to every comment, because community is integral to growth, and a lot of people are lacking community in this day and age. So until next time, drink water and eat meat. Love you guys.